Hello guys and girls, welcome back to another video. Today, another discussion, like always. Today, a little bit less structured video. I'm just going to be ranting and talking about stuff, mainly about like Pokemon drama and why it's kind of like dumb, especially like in this like investment field area of YouTube, if you ever watch any of these sorts of YouTubers. But yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. To start off, I just want to talk about like Team Rocket Joey and honestly why I think he's pretty good to have in the space. Like obviously he is like the ultimate troll in the Pokemon investing community. He rage baits super hard. I guess I'm taking his rage bait because I'm like responding to it and how he thinks. But like ultimately he's right on a lot of things. Like buying an MSRP is like the safest play to make. Like you're downsizing risk in Pokemon investing if you're buying an MSRP. If it even drops below MSRP, there's not a whole lot lower it can go just because wholesale distribution can only sell so low and the card shops can only sell so low. So like him being and saying you want to buy an MSRP or just wait till it's lower, not buy Prismatic at $140 makes a lot of sense. It theoretically makes a ton of sense. In fact, his plays recently have made a ton of sense to me. Like buying Blooming Waters at $100 or just getting into 151 makes so much sense. Like that is a no-brain play. I think everyone can see that who at least has a brain and wants to like invest in the space. But I do think like, there's a whole recent debate where he's saying celebrations, and I think celebrations will go up. I mean, if you look at celebrations though compared to generations, which I think is kind of where he's drawing his comparison, I think celebrations is a lot weaker than generations just because the cards in celebrations are all reprint cards. They're not original cards that people want to go out. So it's like if somebody wants it, they're going to want the original, not necessarily the copy. The stamp, a lot of people turns them off from wanting it. And I think overall, I think there are better places to put your money. Not saying Celebration is a bad investment. In fact, I think it'll do really good. But, being in the CSGO sphere, there has been anniversary cases that come out. And, they still have done extremely well if you invested at 3 cents. But there were other things that have outperformed it. So for his plays and where he is in the scene, I think he's great to have in the scene. You got to have somebody who will tear down people and knock them down a size. But overall, he is the master rage baiter. He's been rage baiting people. I don't know why people are scared to say his name. I think he's been pretty great. I've watched a lot of his videos so far just to kind of get a feel for him. But that's what I kind of think about him. So obviously, I just talked about why Team Rocket Joey is like good for the scene, why he keeps people accountable and things like that, why he does good for the space, and why I think his plays are right. I also kind of want to talk about like Nomics and why he is also kind of in the right for what he says about the environment, investing and stuff. For Prismatic is a set that will go crazy. Like it's going to be opened a ton, so the supply will be cut down faster than say a set like Rebel Clash, like a set like Paradox Rift, which don't get opened as much because people aren't chasing those chase cards. They're chasing the Umbreon, the more expensive stuff. To compare it, like I said, I was in the CS scene. The gold in the case is what drives the price. People want the expensive pulls because that's where the money is if they're going to be gambling. So why not go all out and spend the most money on the most expensive chases, like chase that. So for Prismatic, him saying buying at 140, 120, those technically are good entry points if you are looking to just get a play and you don't want to wait. I do think you can wait, and that's what Team Rocket Joey says, which makes a lot of sense. But if you bought at $140, you're not out of the money until you sell it. Even then, you might be out maybe what, $40? I guess if you bought a ton of it, it could be detrimental. And I know people buy on credit cards, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Only invest what you're willing to lose, and and know that there is risk with stuff. But if you think about it in 2 years' time, Prismatic Evolutions is probably going to be a $200 ETB. I think we can kind of see that. 151 is already a $250 ETB. If you don't think Prismatic is going to be that high with a chase card that is worth 10x what the Charizard's worth currently, like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to not think that those ETBs could be $200. Now, yes, they're going to print more, but Pokemon as a company, I think, realizes that having stuff out of stock all the time and then printing a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more is much, much better than them printing over the amount and then stuff sits on shelves again. They are a company. They are a billion-dollar company who do not want things sitting on shelves because then they are losing money by actively printing stuff that is not getting sold. It sits in distribution. They don't do anything with it. They don't make money. They actually lose money by stuff sitting on shelf. They don't want that. They want this hype to run as long as possible because as much as they care about their consumers, they care about the bottom line also. So they're going to just want this bull run and everything being sold out as long as possible. They don't want stuff sitting on Pokemon Center again because it's overall really good for their brand that everyone wants Pokemon again. And two, it's good for their bottom line because if everything they put out sells out instantly, they don't have to worry about, oh, do we have to meet number? Like, they will steadily over time increase until I think they find that equilibrium point where they're like, okay, this didn't sell. Maybe for the next drop, we reduce units by like 20,000 because that's how many we had left. They'll find that equilibrium. People who think they're just going to print everything to the ground again, I think don't realize Pokemon doesn't want stuff on shelves. Like, they don't want that. That's just not good for their business. So that's a long story short, a little rant or whatever about like that. Obviously, I think Nomics, PokeProfit, and all them, I think they're also right in their sense of, no, 140 is a good buy-in for Prismatic. I think overall those packs will be more expensive because they will be open more. There will be less in supply once they're out of rotation, or once they're stopped printing. Now, obviously, they might hit MSRP, they might not. Who knows? It's a really popular set right now. But I think like both people, or like all people involved in this drama that's been going on, are correct and are misunderstanding each other or just like wanting to do beef. I don't really understand it, but like that's what I think. I think everyone is in the right, like in their own way, and it makes sense from everyone's perspective. And I just kind of want to talk about it. That's why I think it's kind of dumb that everyone's like arguing, because everyone is correct in the sense that like Celebration is going to go up. Like there are other places to put your money. Prismatic at 140 probably will be still a good entry point when the box is $200. Like obviously you would love to get it 60, but like you're still making money. Now obviously that was a whole lot of yapping that I just did. Like I just talked about it, a bunch of stuff. I just kind of want to get how I felt about all this like drama that's been going on in the community off my chest. But yeah, if you liked the video, if you could leave a like, subscribe to me, help me out a ton. And yeah, if anyone, I mean, I'm not super big or anything like that, but if anyone ever wanted to talk to me, get me on stream or anything like that, I'd love to come join, share my thoughts, because I've been in some other collectible like CS skins. I've made some money on that. So like if anyone wanted to see my viewpoints on anything, just let me know. Leave a comment. Thank you.